Well, what do we have here? Apparently that's how I'm starting every video about The Boys. What's up guys, I'm Dean, and episode 4 of season 3 of The Boys is out for some people, and I thought I'd try something new on my YouTube channel and just give you my thoughts on it, because I love The Boys so much, and I just want every single possible excuse to talk about it. So I'm not really sure what the structure of this is going to be, but if I keep doing this over the coming weeks, I'm sure we'll figure something out. So if you're wondering what I was alluding to when I said some people have seen The Boys, if you're not aware, the Amazon release of it has glitched, so only some people have got it on their Amazon Prime, and they're still working on getting it on everyone's Amazon Prime, and it's a whole thing, and it's very weird, and like I've never known that to happen with a streaming platform before. That's the whole point of a streaming platform, and it's not good. And I'm blaming Jeffrey Bezos, but I've got to watch The Boys, and really, isn't that all that matters? Spoilers for the whole episode, by the way, obviously. And this episode was just another corker. It was a lot of fun. It was lots of twists and turns, and this show just keeps ramping up week after week, and I don't know how they're going to fill in 4 more hours of a season, because it looks like everyone's going to die imminently, and everyone hates each other, and it's just going swimmingly so far. I could not be happier with the way season 3 is turning out. Season 3 so far is my favourite season of my favourite TV show ever. And I think the reason why season 3 is working so well is because all these characters have so much baggage with each other, where they're just throwing around threats, and they've got such history, and they all hang out together, they're all in the same place. It kind of works perfectly for me. But I've got a very long list of key moments from this episode that I wrote down. We're going to go through them, talk about them, and then I'll give you my predictions for what's coming this season, and perhaps beyond. I don't know, I haven't planned this out too much. Stop asking questions and enjoy. Okay, so the episode opens with Soldier Boy doing a little rap and Mother's Milk just standing there, so angry. I really want to know what happened with Mother's Milk's family, because you saw flashes of them in this scene. I want to know the story there, and I want to know how he reacts when he eventually meets Soldier Boy properly. And then we go to the Cameron Coleman Hour, which, forgive me if I'm wrong, I believe is a parody of Tucker Carlson. I'm not really aware of a lot of these American hosts because it's all stupid and dumb, and I'm glad something like The Boys is parodying them. But I did enjoy how everyone's calling Homelander brave, and he's talking about some sneaky cabal which is controlling things in the background. All of this I find very interesting and very funny, and because it's great satire. I also really enjoyed the scene with Billy Butcher, and I've forgotten her name, the Russian woman who who Frenchie used to work for. I enjoyed him negotiating with her, because I don't think that's the side of Billy we've seen before, of him negotiating with someone he likes, because obviously she doesn't have any tie to superheroes or everything, so he's got no reason to hate her. And another scene which I really loved, one of the best scenes of this episode, was Homelander interrupting Hughie and Starlight. I just love now in this show that Homelander can walk in on a conversation between these two, because obviously you got 0 of that in season 1 and season 2, and stuff like that works really, really well. And him just walking in, being a creep, writing his name on Hughie's arm, and just really like making a reminder for Hughie for the rest of the episode about who he is, and then just Starlight threatening him, and just all of that stuff works so well. And I enjoyed the moment of Hughie puffing up his chest and looks like he's about to stand up to Homelander, but he can't. It was a wonderful scene. Everyone acted in it perfectly, and I just really like The Boys, guys. So the next thing I want to talk about is A-Train in this episode, because he's getting interesting stuff to do this season, and there's a twist at the end of the episode which we're going to get to, which makes me confused about what direction they're taking his character. His advert, was so funny. That advert of him with the Kardashian Pepsi advert. It was so funny, and it works so well. I laughed out loud at that scene. And another scene I laughed out loud at is when he's talking to Ashley about Blue Hawk, or whatever the superhero who's attacking black people is. Ashley said, nothing but black squares on my Instagram. Slightly disappointing in this episode. We got less play of other Ashley. You know, she's also got an assistant called Ashley. Hopefully we'll get more of that in the future. But yeah, that was a really fun scene. And then we transitioned to the scene of Queen Maeve training. I found all of that really interesting, how she's just like not on touching alcohol, and behind the scenes she's really working to improve herself, to fight Homelander for a couple seconds, just because she doesn't care about her own life, but she's still, one focus in life is just to stop this man. And I think that's really interesting, and I'm tempted to say that she's going to die. But we'll get to that later. But of course, this Queen Maeve scene leads into Annie recruiting Supersonic for their anti-Homelander team, which is a concept I'm a big fan of, and I enjoyed them building it throughout the episode, although I don't think we're going to see much more of it from now on for obvious reasons. I've got a note here which I took during the anti-Homelander scene where Annie recruits him to the team. I wrote down, Supersonic is so dead. Obviously that was before I finished the episode. We then have the meeting, which I thought was a lot of fun, with the taco salads that nobody ate because Homelander then immediately kicks them out of the room, and Black Noir drawing stuff like that's fun. And this leads us into a really interesting scene, which I really enjoyed, which is kind of where I came up with this whole thing about baggage, was A-Train versus Deep in the corridor, where he punched him in the gills. That's a dick move. Just the fact that Deep was like, hey, I'll tell Homelander this, and then A-Train was like, hey, I'll tell Homelander this, and they all just know. Every character has so much dirt on every other character that every interaction is so many layers to it, and all these performances and all these inside jokes and all these things just go on top of each other to make such an interesting dynamic amongst every character in the show, and that's why it's so wonderful. We then got the scene of Billy Butcher telling Kimiko to go and, kill whoever that Russian guy was, and that was a fun scene. But we also got Mother's Milk standing up to Billy Butcher, and Billy Butcher saying the whole thing about him holding the team together, which is an idea we'll get back to, because the end of this episode has some stuff to say about that. And then there's the scene where Kimiko goes on her killing spree. The whole thing with the sex toys was quite interesting, actually, because I don't know if you saw, last week I went to an Interactive Boys experience. I've made a YouTube video about that if you want to go check that out too. And in that there was a boardroom with a whiteboard, and on the whiteboard there was all these different designs and names for these sex toys, and we thought it was just a fun inside joke, but it turns out something that they actually did in the show. So I got a sneak peek of that, I guess, which was cool. But yeah, Kimiko got shot in the head, which is foreshadowing, I think, for something that happens later. Oh dear. So one of the two biggest takeaways and the two biggest events of this episode, for me at least, we've just got to the first one, is that of Stan Edgar getting the boot. And now there's lots of things to discuss here because it's a complicated one to wrap our heads around, because we weren't really that aware of the dynamic between Stan Edgar and Victoria Newman. So we don't know if this is in line with that. This could be a Stan Edgar ploy to make Homelander thinks he's winning, for it all to turn around on him. I'm just not sure, to be honest. But the most interesting about them getting rid of Stan Edgar is now that Homelander has nothing holding him back. There is no oversight to him. There is nothing stopping him from doing whatever he wants, as he said at the end of Season 2. It's amazing that at the end of Season 2 he was powerless and he was stuck in this situation, and now he is in control of everything. But what Stan Edgar said when he stood up to him in that scene in the boardroom, Homelander's going to slip up and there's going to be no one there to cover his mistakes, which is a really interesting concept, and I think it's something that's going to happen, because if Stan Edgar says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. We also get really interesting moments around this part of the episode, like where we find out Homelander knows about Victoria Newman's powers, and will they work on Homelander? It looks like Victoria doesn't know and Homelander doesn't know, which is also interesting. I'm going to guess it's not going to work, because surely it would have, they're not going to just give that power to Victoria Newman. But, her giving her daughter V is interesting. I'm interested to see where that goes and how much that plays a part in the show coming up. But, Victoria Newman now kind of just a loose cannon is very interesting, and I want to know what Hughie is going to do about that, because it can't be too long until those two have a confrontation. I mean, saying that, I don't understand how they can have a confrontation which doesn't end in Hughie getting his head exploded. Maybe just over the phone or something. So Jamie the hamster has superpowers. And that's all I'm going to say on that matter, because I have nothing else to add to that conversation, and I think that was just a cool little scene. Hughie's got superpowers though, and what's really interesting there for me is how that they're just they're giving consequences to Billy and Hughie having powers, and Billy saying it's a curse, and Hughie is clearly on a literal power trip with them. If you don't know, in the comics, that Temp V is a pill that all the boys take constantly, and they just go and kill superheroes, and it just happens constantly. There's no side effects and there's no dilemmas created by these pills. They just take them and they get superpowers and they're happy, and I'm not a fan of the comic book massively. The show was a lot better, and I'm glad that they're giving consequences to them taking the V. And then the big moment of the episode, we finally get Soldier Boy in the modern day, and the big twist here is we knew he had a big chest laser from the trailer, but it looks like it's depowering, which is so fascinating to me, because this just completely changes the game of the entire show. Because if the boys can get Soldier Boy on side, then they can easily kill Homelander. But the question is, who gave him this? Does Vought know? Does Stan Edgar know? And he's been keeping there just in case he has to stop Homelander. Is Soldier Boy complicit with Vought? Will he help them? Will he help the boys? Does he like Homelander? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? There's so much to unpack here. I'm really, really interested to see where this goes. We've now got prediction time. But before we get to prediction time, I've gone through the trailer and I have found all the photos, well, all the shots, the important shots that we still haven't seen in the show. I've got 9 here. And the first one suddenly makes a lot more sense. The trailer opens after Homelander does his whole apology thing, which we saw in episode 1, with Homelander with a black eye. So it looks like he's getting depowered and getting punched in the face. And who should punch him in the face? Maybe Huey. I think that might be fun. We're also missing the iconic Homelander cow scene, which I'm really interested to see. And then we've got a shot here of Stan Edgar taking off his glasses in front of a bunch of flashing cameras. This might be a big press conference about maybe him revealing his plan and like getting one up on Homelander, or maybe it is just him resigning. We've also got a few shots and sequences of this trailer of Homelander at a rally where everybody loves him and he's so happy about this, which I think is really interesting. These might be the storm chasers we saw earlier on and have something to do with Mother's Milk's wife's husband. We've also got the classic of Soldier Boy, John Walkering someone, decapitating them with a shield by the looks of it, which is going to be interesting. And there's a burnt down building here, which looks like Soldier Boy did it, maybe, which we still haven't seen. Now, this one's interesting because this is proof that Kimiko isn't going to die yet, because here she's got a whole dance number in a hospital. Now, it makes sense why she's in a hospital now, because, she's very injured and she's close to death. But it looks like she survives, and I would imagine this is another one of her dream sequences, like it was in episode 1 where she started singing while someone's playing the piano. That's my bet. Perhaps something really heartbreaking happens in the hospital and then this happens. I'm not sure. And then finally, we have a brief look at a Soldier Boy vs Starlight fight, which is very interesting, and it makes it seem like Soldier Boy isn't going to be on the boys' side, at least for the most part. And I can't imagine him being on Homelander's side, so I think that leaves one option. Well, 2 options. Either he's by himself or he's with Vought. And I think he's with Vought if I had to place my bets. Anyway, speaking of placing bets, let's talk about what predictions. I've got a list here of stuff I'm going to predict about. So, I think in the last video I said that Homelander's going to win at the end of this season because he lost at the end of season 2 and won at the end of season 1. But he is just winning and winning and winning, episode after episode after episode in this show. So I think season 3 is either going to end with him losing, or it's going to end on a big cliffhanger, which kind of leaves that fact ambiguous. Are any of the new superheroes going to die? I didn't even mention Supersonic's death. Wow, skipped over that. Whoops. We all knew he was going to die, but I'm surprised A-Train handed it in, because I thought A-Train was about to get redeemed, but clearly not, because Supersonic's dead. Temp V I've got here. What is happening with Temp V? Good question. Is this going to be something that's going to continue into later seasons of the show? Are there going to be any later seasons of the show? Probably. But how is Temp V fitting into it? So Billy Butcher is taking it kind of by necessity, it seems like, just to level the playing field, and he doesn't enjoy taking it. Huey, on the other hand, looks like he could be getting addicted to it. Huey looks like he's really, taking this power trip the wrong way, and he's taking it too far, and he's going to get addicted to it and hurt people. I think he's going to kill either a random civilian, like his girlfriend died, like he's going to run into someone, he's going to teleport into someone like A-Train did with his girlfriend, and then he'll feel remorseful, or he'll hurt/kill someone he loves, and then he'll stop taking Compound V. And I think it's at the end of the episode, and that kind of gives into my theory that the season is going to end with the boys losing. Yeah, now I think about it, I think the season's going to end with the boys losing with something like that, and Huey realising, hey, I can't be a druggie. The depowerment beam is, I think, the most interesting concept this show has moving forward. Soldier Boy, I want to say, won't survive the season. Before I found out about this depowerment beam, I thought he will, but this is such a powerful concept that I can't see him getting past this season. He can't be getting out of there alive. There's so much to unpack. Are any more superheroes going to die? Probably. Something I find really funny is that the Seven was only once again the Seven with 7 members for one single episode. So the Seven has only been the Seven for 3 entire episodes of the show, because the first 2 episodes and the new episode are now Supersonic's dead. They're not the Seven anymore. But who knows, maybe Soldier Boy will join them. That seems likely. There's so much to think about and so much to unpack. Just leave me your questions down below. Give me any suggestions of how I can improve these little breakdowns for you, because I'm just spinning my wheels here. I don't know what I'm doing. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And yeah, probably see you next week for episode 5. Honestly, can't wait. Thanks for watching. Bye.